This special broadcast is brought to you by satellite from Meliovāviטš World Headquarters in Brooklyn, New York. It's a salute to Judaism, the بعומر Day Parade. بعומر, 5744, a beautiful Sunday in May, and many thousands of children and adults are gathered together at 770 Eastern Parkway for the parade. The coast-to-coast television coverage is hosted by Rabbi Shmuel Kaplan, the Lubavitch representative in Maryland, and by Hyman Brown, the well-known producer of Mystery Theater and countless other programs from the golden age of radio. The children are waiting for the Lubavitcher Rebbe to arrive.
At this point, the Rebbe has instructed that 12 verses from the Torah be recited here by the children. So one of the young girls is leading the crowd in the recitation of the verse.
Translation to that posuk is, in every generation, one must look upon himself as if he personally has gone out of Egypt.
Bechor, Dor, Vador, Chayav, Adam, Lirot, Et, Atzmo, Ki'ilu, Hu, Yatsa, Mimitzrayim.
Very good, thank you.
You know, one of the remarkable things about the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he is a man who is over 80 years old already, and yet his line of communication to young children is so direct and so open. His smile, watch his face and the communication that he has with children.
He's a tremendous symbol, I imagine, to the children. He's a perfect father image as far as I'm concerned, and they must look to him as a father. It's a truly remarkable patriarchal face.
Yes, yes. In his face you see 3,000 years of Jewish history and the Jewish people. Cantor Talashevsky will now sing a traditional cantorial rendition of Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will that the temple be rebuilt speedily in our times. The children will now join in. And the Rebbe is now energetically clapping with the crowd.
It's wonderful to watch the contrast. There is no generation gap in any of this, Rabbi. What a joyous moment it must be for someone like the Rebbe to see all these young people who will carry the tradition forward.
To hear a special message of the Rebbe's sign, we'll ask everybody to be...
Now the Rebbe will address the children.
The following are only brief excerpts edited from the Rebbe's address.
We have all gotten together here for the occasion of Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day in the counting of the Omer between Passover and the holiday of Shavuos. The Talmud indicates to us it was also given to Moses at the mountain of Sinai, as Maimonides mentions in his preparatory remarks to his major work on Jewish law, that the Torah and all of its explanations, the oral law, was given to Moses. As mentioned in the Jerusalem Talmud, the tablets and the Ten Commandments also included with them everything which an intelligent student would eventually derive from the basics of the Torah. Certainly the kind of episode, as the Talmud relates the story of the students of Rabbi Akiva, it was the time which the plague stopped amongst the students of Rabbi Akiva, and they survived from that point on and spread the teachings of the Torah. The episode for which we are celebrating today, a day which, if not for this occasion, it would have been a weekday. We in turn make it a joyous day, and specifically when even non-Jews can recognize that Jews have gathered together on a day which normally is a weekday. And they recognize that Jews have put aside their own weekday things and are taking appropriate action and resolution in their observance of Torah and mitzvahs. This then will bring closer God's promise to gather in the Jewish exiles from all over the world as Jews who are spread in so many places across the world. And also diverse in their daily pursuits. But when they are intent upon doing something relating to God, God requests of each and every Jew that they should follow in the statutes of the Torah and do them. So then God promises all the blessings. And so this reminds us on this day of Lag BaOmer about this major principle that Rabbi Akiva expounded: love your fellow Jew as yourself. We get together as one with gladness, which will bring about the fulfillment of the promise that a great multitude will be brought here, referring to Israel and Jerusalem, so that soon all Jews and every Jew will be collected from all over the world by God himself. As the Torah mentions, you will be collected, each and every one of you, independently. As the commentary Rashi points out, that God takes each Jew by his hand and brings him out of exile. And when we all go with God, one God, we can understand that they all then are a great mass of the community as one. And this is, they prepare themselves for this great event by Jewish unity. And then in a literal sense, we merit the coming of the Messiah speedily in our time. The Rebbe has just finished the first segment of his address to the children.
I must say, Rabbi Kaplan, that I am deeply, deeply moved because the entire theme of his address was dominated by the word love.
Well, the music has started up and things are getting ready to move.
I love the idea of klezmer. This is a real klezmer orchestra. Klezmer, of course, is musicians, but they play in the tradition of all that is Judaic. And they look it too. Rebbe is looking on everything with a great deal of happiness. It must be wonderful to have all these youngsters who will carry on the tradition facing him.
Well, the Rebbe is not satisfied to have only these youngsters. He wants youngsters all over the world, every single Jewish child. You notice when he ever mentions children, he says each and every child, boy and girl.
Well, I know from what I do with the Guy of the Jewish Story, we're in 60 cities. And 60 cities, Rabbi Kaplan, is a tremendous, tremendous network to reach every child.
Getting ready with the flags?
Yes, and with the police escort. Tremendous festive feeling. It is as much a holiday as one could hope and wish for.
Well, we're underway.
Here they come, yes.
Like بعומر saluting Judaism.
And they pass before the Rebbe. And the youngsters carrying the flags, which is a special honor, I suppose. This is an honor guard.
But the honor guard doesn't have the tzitzis that the young children have.
No. But it's a community affair, and it is really wonderful that the city and all the elements that comprise a city as large and diverse as New York City is, do get together for this salute to Judaism. We have a bagpipe contingent that are going to march. Again, the diversity of interest in this day by other groups is truly inspired. You couldn't call the bagpipers klezmer.
No.
Hardly.
I think at the honor guard, it was the first time they marched to klezmer music.
Yes, but here they come with their own bagpipes. Well, you have a counterpoint now of klezmer music and bagpipes.
Did you notice the Rebbe salute to them?
Yes. This is wonderfully exciting because you have these special tributes from the community to Lag Boma. This would be probably part of the reserve of the U.S.?
Yes, it's the Army Reserve.
They're stationed here in Brooklyn?
I suppose so. Rabbi Goldstein, who is a
chaplain,
and Meliובאוויטש chassid too, makes the arrangements with the National Guard.
That's wonderful.
Incidentally, he was also in Grenada.
Oh, was
he? He was a chaplain sent to Grenada with the troops.
With the troops.
I did an interview with him on Hanukkah from Grenada.
Oh, how wonderful. On a satellite.
Yeah.
That's Did they celebrate Hanukkah there?
Yes, that's what he went there for, to
How
help
many
celebrate.
soldiers did he have?
I don't recall offhand, but he told us there were a lot of students that were still there that were Jewish.
Oh, yes, at the
And there must have
medical
been,
school.
I don't recall precisely, but 15, 20 Jewish soldiers that were in Grenada.
That's very interesting.
Must be good target practice.
Well, it's 21-gun salute, and Lag is 33 days. Don't you think they should have had a 33-gun salute?
Indeed. Well, the clown troupe is coming.
On one of your mitzvah mobiles,
Well, it's actually rabbinical students.
dressed up as
Dressed up
clowns,
as
of
clowns,
course. I would expect that. Here's a whole group of them. Now we have Eli Lipsker's drum corps.
Klezmer drum corps.
Our own klezmer are competing. They look smart, trim.
You can notice there's a payas on the side.
They're all,
Part of the tradition of like Bahama is the cutting here in Iran.
Oh, yes, the
3-year-old
upsharing.
children, upsharing, and leaving the payas.
yes. Look at all the little children enjoying with their proud mamas. This is a parade of youngsters with their mothers.
To emphasize the importance of children,
As soon as
Jewish
they
children,
can understand, yes.
right? And so the first position in the parade after the bands was given to the mothers with carriages.
And rightly so.
I hope my wife and daughter are there.
Well, look hard. I'm sure you'll find them. Now here we come with the special floats.
The first one is the Wonderful World of the Mitzvah campaign.
And there are 10 mitzvahs.
Right, for the major mitzvah campaign.
And they're all illustrated with familiar and recognizable characters. Our friend Mr. Flintstone is holding an olive.
Donald Duck studying Torah.
You gotta really believe this. It's Donald Duck's 50th anniversary.
Is that it?
Yeah.
So he took to studying Torah in honor of the occasion.
Well, he's grown up to be a very educated old man. Those headdresses
that
that the
beautiful?
children are wearing are all Torahs. one of the most important mitzvot, to give to charity. The slogan, you don't have to be rich to give charity. This is one of the elaborate floats which follows.
It depicts the week building up to the day of Shabbat.
This is one of the activities. The baker baking. That's a little challah. These are the 3-year-olds, I imagine, who are ready for the upsharing, right?
I suppose. But if they're in school, they must probably pass the 3-year-old age.
Well, they look like 3, 4-year-olds.
Demonstrating Ahavas Yisrael, love of a fellow Jew.
Yes. Well, these are not.
It's also
These
a way of
must
not
be
getting lost.
kindergartners. They don't look any more than 3 years old. Are they carrying canteens? Oh no, they're little drums. Now they stop in front of the Rebbe. I'm sure every one of those children will remember such an experience for the rest of their lives.
Look at kid dancing.
Sure. The Rebbe is waiting in time with the music. Beautiful faces. And the sun is out.
One child trying to do his part and beat on the drum.
I think they get a little older as they go by. It's a field day for the clowns. These are our Tzivos Hashem children.
Right? Tzivos Hashem is today the largest youth group in the country. Over 100,000 children
I
belong to it.
couldn't believe it. And they brought in computerized tapes with all the names and addresses of the children, because this is how they send out the special publications, magazines to the children. They're constantly in touch with them. This is another band from another school.
Torah, one of the locusts, made them intensive in the study of Torah.
Beautifully stated.
Look at that.
Yeah. The uniforms are spanking new. Colorful.
Taste it, Rebbe. And they all saluted the Rebbe as they march along.
Well, they're standing. I suppose this is a special salute. move along Eastern Parkway, you know, here, between Brooklyn and Kingston Avenue, and you see in front of the reviewing stand, so to speak, where the Rebbe is standing, and they turn into Kingston Avenue. And then afterwards, as you well know, there's a huge street fair, carnival, amusements, refreshments, right up to nightfall. You have plenty of time.
Refreshments, but all kosher.
Everything is kosher. Even the entertainment is kosher. But the children do have a day of festivity. And this will proceed until nightfall, so that with your longer days, you can still come here at 5 and 6 o'clock. Really have lots and lots of fun. Make, like بعומر, the holiday it should be. These young people can really play. And this is another school that is represented.
All the traffic delays coming by now, the Rebbe walking by the Rebbe stand.
Well, as the drum beat passes, the klezmers start up again.
These are all the children that were sitting and listening to the Rebbe before, parading now in front of him. Here's another float.
This is the float carrying 8 little 3-year-olds.
This is the float with the upsharing.
Right. As you mentioned, the custom is in بعומر at the gravesite of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai in Iran. They bring children who are approximately 3 years of age for their first haircutting. And they actually have the kids that are going to be having their hair cutting today. Notice the scale, a bit of hair on one side and the gold on the other. It's an imitation of the gravesite of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai.
Yes, it's been depicted with the children are with their fathers.
The parents are obligated to give their child their first kiddush when they cut the hair of the head. Here it comes. Now, this is number 3, the float on Ocean Parkway. Both sides of Ocean Parkway.
I understand the actual upsharing will take place on Empire Boulevard.
Well, one of the important things about the parade, not only children marching, but all the work has been done by the children. The yeshiva children have put together the floats, and it's all their imagination and their hard work go over many, many nights.
I can imagine, and they look very, very well
We're just watching
created.
The printing of the Tanya, one of the basic works of Hasidic philosophy and Jewish mysticism all over the world. It's been printed just about every country, so they've got the huge book there and different elements from different countries.
Well, the children are all on the floats as part of it. So another group of children
Lubavitch Yeshiva now. All the children are holding signs. displaying their pride, their Jewish identity.
And once more, these are like Charlie Brown animal, dogs. They all have contemporary, recognizable symbols. Enjoy passing in parade before the Rebbe.
Where's the Tzivos Hashem emblem?
Yes. Donald Duck again.
Seems to be a favorite.
Well, as I said earlier, he's lasted 50 years.
And he's kosher too.
Oh. What's better than a good duck? Well, that's the first bicycle we've seen. There's a great deal of creativity. The young people.
The group we just saw pass carrying one long string of signs saying, "Love your fellow Jew. I accept upon myself the commandment to love your fellow Jew as yourself."
More bagpipes. There was.
Maybe he sent over
the bagpipes. But he's still a Jewish mayor. There was a Jewish mayor for a long time. I wonder if they would be able to do a freelance on the bagpipes.
Yes, they are.
Isn't that wonderful?
I think you hit it.
They are actually doing a Hasidic tune on the bagpipe. This is one of the minor wonders.
The worst of the song, Am Yisrael, Jewish people, have no fear, the Messiah will be here this year.
Well, it took a great deal of learning and ingenuity, and I applaud the bagpipers.
Maimonides, which is the focus of happenings here in Crown Heights. The Rebbe has asked that people study the entire major work of Maimonides, the Yad HaChazaka. It's being done throughout the entire world. It's divided up in a few chapters, 3 chapters every single day. There's been a saying amongst Jews that from the time of Moses, who gave us the Torah, to the time of Moses, Maimonides, there was no other Moses comparable, so here they've got the Torah on one end.
And 2 hands holding up the books.
Holding up the books. Well, you've got the yeshiva of the Rambam.
I see, from East Long Island, yeah.
A school called by the name of Maimonides.
He was certainly a great patriarch. Jersey, Jersey City.
Here's a float which was done by Russian immigrants, talking about the self-sacrifice that the Jews behind the Iron Curtain have had, hoping that eventually we will have a redemption not just for them but for all the Jewish people, a redemption from any part of the world.
This float,
studying the Torah,
yes,
in a necktie behind bars.
Behind barbed wire. There's a great deal of inventiveness and creativeness that have gone into these floats, with very, very little money spent. Here we have a fountain going.
It's the fountains of the well springs of Hasidic philosophy.
And this is the
mysticism coming from the headquarters, the Lubavitch World Headquarters, 770. We've got a spring actually coming out.
Very, very well done.
In addition to other cities, depiction of London and of Jerusalem.
And finally Russia,
Kremlin, yeah. Oh my, look at this.
This is an extremely mobile float. Everything moves.
It's the order of the tractates of the Mishnah, the Talmud, various books of the Talmud, but all done on Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel.
For children to learn. This is also from Morristown.
The Torah go round, all the 5 books of Moses.
And it works. As I remember, there's a little railroad going all around which says بعומر. But it was moving at one point.
Here we are.
Hundreds of children, all partaking of the day. This is a daycare center.
Marching.
For many, I imagine it's the first time they've seen the Rebbe. Well, Eastern Parkway certainly was not this way when I lived here some 40 years ago. This has added a great
people standing on the fire escapes watching the proceedings?
Yes. Well, there are people all over. There are several thousand people here today.
It's a 4-story building with huge signs on it. Behind the Rebbe stands his brother-in-law and also son-in-law of the previous Lubavitch Rebbe, Rabbi Gurari, who is the dean of the Lubavitch yeshivas.
Not ready for the upsharing yet.
Enjoying it nonetheless.
It's a small part of the audience. Maryland and from Jersey and from Connecticut, I imagine.
A contingent here from Maryland as well. Chicago, various parts of the country actually, and Pittsburgh.
Here's a float, which is again from the boys of
Harry Crown Day School.
Yeah.
Which is a major school in Chicago, and I've noticed throughout the day some kids from Pittsburgh, from Toronto. Float which demonstrates the episode of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's life. He spent 13 years in a cave, got a cave at one end, and then what came forth was his magnum opus, the Zohar, the Book of Light. Made by the Russian immigrants, as you notice the Russian signage.
Yes. They've integrated into the community very happily.
Coming of the redemption and the rebuilding of the temple there. And you see it's noticed before the temple descending from the heavens over Jews from all corners of the world. There it is. See the temple standing above the clouds, above the clouds, and Jews from every part of the world will be redeemed with the ingathering of the exiles.
And all the symbols of the various countries, the Eiffel Tower and Washington, Big Ben, again
by
as a Chinese,
yeah.
Very creative, most creative. The enslavement of the Jewish people in Russia.
Imminent redemption.
All the children, the little girls at least, have these headbands which identify their own particular school, their own particular class.
The tablets.
Yes.
The Ten Commandments on them. Notice the tablets are square as they actually were. All the common conception is sort of a rounded top, but the tradition tells us they were actually square, and that's what they have on their heads.
They turn here into Kingston Avenue.
Mm-hmm. They march all the way down to the fairgrounds.
On Empire Boulevard.
Yep.
I'm sure they can't wait to get there.
Children being very impressionable, the fact that they're the ones that march really instills in them a pride in what they are and what they're doing.
Of course, and to relate
They're not watching, they're the marchers.
To relate that closely to the Rebbe who's watching them and looking at them. It's a memorable experience for children. I'm sure they'll look forward to next year because they have many, many years of Lag BaOmer ahead. impressed with the number of mothers who are so concerned and involved.
The Rebbe always emphasizes the education of the very, very young. From the moment of birth, one has to be concerned about what children see and what they're exposed to.
Also,
and this
family.
is in a positive sense.
It's the whole theme of family is critically important.
Leading the Jewish people has mentioned that in Manana Shemaya, if we merit, we will go to Israel on clouds. We take it to Israel on clouds.
I'm sure our friends at El Al will not take offense if we can go to Israel on clouds.
You notice different people from different corners of the world flying on clouds over Jerusalem.
It's one way of going.
Wonder about the amenities on those flights.
Oh, this will all be manna and milk and honey. If we're going with Moshiach, you go first class.
Temple Shalom of Flatbush, presenting their colors.
Tzivos Hashem, again. $100,000 strong. This is the Torah true Jewish commitment from Morristown.
Torah forever.
The mitzvos that were commanded to us then are as exciting and vibrant to us now as well.
An imitation of the mountain Sinai.
And here are the yeshiva girls.
Oh, it's a Boston yeshiva, Lubavitch Yeshiva of Boston. In case you've just tuned in, we're broadcasting from the بعומر parade, commemorating the passing of Shimon Bar Yochai, which has become a day of joy and celebration for all Jews across the world. The parade taking place at 770 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, the world headquarters of the Lubavitch Rebbe. On the reviewing stand is the Lubavitch Rebbe watching the children pass by in the parade.
Can't come to the parade too young. The children have left their seats, of course, and have all been marching.
Was just offered for the police department to put so much effort into this whole day.
Well, it really is a most cooperative effort. I think the city does an incredible job of protecting and supervising. And certainly the example we've seen today of the discipline and the orderliness of everything is a great part due to the preparation made by the police department.
Chabad School of Greater Hartford.
These children must have come in by bus.
I'm sure.
it's easy to understand the excitement that can be generated by such a day.
Well, the children coming in from Maryland woke up this morning at 5 in the morning.
Well, it takes about 4 hours by bus.
That's right.
Yes. And they'll probably not go home till about 4 or 5. It's a full day.
And the Boston Lubavitch Yeshiva. In the spirit of the parade.
Boston is even further away than East Hartford.
Albany, New York, state capital. Seat of honor?
Yes, on Daddy's shoulders. The entire audience seems to join in the passing in parade, so to speak, before the Rebbe.
Well, the day has turned out to be a beautiful one.
Oh, yes.
Spectators are joining the march now, passing in front of the viewing stand.
I think that's a wonderful custom for everyone to pass before the Rebbe. And they all are on Eastern Parkway and turn into Kingston Avenue and go on to the fairgrounds, so to speak.
New York City version of fairgrounds, closed off streets.
Well, there'll be carousels and Ferris wheels.
Everything that you would expect at a fairground.
And lots of food.
conclusion, we have the school buses symbolizing the theme of education, which the Rebbe has been stressing all morning, and which the whole parade is about. Education of Jewish children in the ways of the Torah as mitzvahs. Starting from the earliest of ages, from the moment a child is born, through the things they see and are exposed to, all the way to involved studies of Talmud and Kabbalah.
It's certainly been a great experience for me. This is the first time I've acted in the capacity of what we would call a commentator, and how right that it should be for an event such as
The Rebbe
this.
is now leaving the reviewing platform and returning to 770, the national headquarters of the Lubavitch movement. As he goes, he